All right, beautiful, beautiful day to you. Welcome to another edition of the interview right here on this, I want to say cold Sunday. I mean, in some places it's really cold, in some other places it's warm. For some parts of the country, or the world, it's winter. Some other parts of the world, it's Hamatan. Some other parts, it's dry season. For some others, it is raining. But either way, no matter where you're coming from, it promises to be an exciting session. And in a short while, I'll be introducing our speakers or letting them come in quickly. But as usual, my name is Wisdom Obina, and I would always be the anchor, maybe until power changes hands. But for now, yeah, I would definitely be leading the line on this particular one. Recent statistics has shown that PDP and Labour Party members are the ones with the loudest noise on Twitter. Now, this does not mean that the other set of people are not talking, but it seems like these two particular political parties have got reasons to talk, and they've also got facts to prove and back their support for their candidate. And that is what has helped us to make that decision of actually bringing two very strong party faithfuls and two people who understand grassroots politics, internal politics, and also have an idea of what is going on at the top to actually discuss the ongoings within the two political parties and why they think we should actually be voting for them in the next election. It would also be very nice if you drop your comments, drop your questions. I would be really pleased if you drop your questions. So we definitely get to ask them and find out why they think their candidates are definitely the best people. I'm definitely going to be asking my own questions, and I believe that they would or they are definitely prepared to answer. Well, the first person here, okay, the two of them are here, and I would be letting I'll be letting them introduce themselves. While, of course, towards the end, I'll spend some time talking about a little bit I know about these very two great personalities. But let me let them introduce themselves, starting with you, Oche.
Good evening, listeners. It's my pleasure to join this program, and I use this opportunity to thank Mr. Wisdom Obina for giving us a platform for us to add our voice to the political dispensation that is happening in our country. My name is Oche Alichinu. By special grace of God, I'm from Okpoku local government, Benue State, the former national president of the entire Indoma student, both home and abroad. By special grace of God, I am the immediate past as a special advisor, senior special advisor to the zonal coordinator of NANS, that is National Association of Nigeria Students. I am in Comrade Abba Owechu Abba. Nice meeting you here once again. Thank you.
All right, and Chidubim, let's hear from you.
Well, thank you very much, Wisdom. It's really a pleasure to be on this platform, and I want to appreciate my colleague as well for finding time to be here to talk about things that concern us as young persons and more broadly now as a nation. I am Chidubem, like it has been stated, Chidubem Njoku. I am a graduate of Business Administration, University of Benin, and I also am a broadcast journalist, a media consultant, and I have a firm I run, Colite. We are into advertising, and I'm also passionate about things that concern us as young persons, and politics will be one of them. So I'm a social commentator, and I do my best, my possible best, to contribute to the growth and development of Nigeria. Once again, thank you very much, and it's good to be here. Wisdom Obinak, I can't hear you. It seems your mic is muted.
Oh, okay. You can hear me now, right?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. I was saying that Oche didn't say so much. I mean, they didn't mention their party affiliations in all their descriptions and everything, but it's fine. No problems. I'm sure in time we'll get to find out. But quickly, we'll go into the business while we are here. The world is in an interesting state at the moment, and Nigeria is no different. It's even peculiar in our own system at the moment. As the date draws near for arguably the most crucial election in Nigeria's history, party faithful and loyalists of amiable candidates have continued to debate and shed light on who is a much better candidate for Nigeria's, I won't say most prestigious, but the number one position in terms of political leadership in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, these debates have been drawn across party lines. It's been polarized across party lines, especially on social media, Twitter to be precise, having some of these very high rates. And a recent research has proven that PDP and Labour Party members are the ones who have the highest voice. Doesn't mean the APC or NMPP members are not talking, but one voice can be good, one voice can be louder. It doesn't mean they don't have followers or their followers are not big enough. But then, in terms of those who are willing to talk, those who are willing to debate against each other, and that's why we decided, okay, let's actually have them talk to us. Those who we feel understand what it means to actually become president, in terms of not that they've been one, but in terms of how these candidates are preparing, what they've done, how they have done it, and what makes them the best fit for their positions. But to be very, very specific, Oche Alechenu would be, of course, he's on the side of the PDP. Ever since I knew him, or since I met him, he's always been a PDP person. So I'm not sure that has changed. But then, yes, he would definitely be on that particular side. And then Chinubem Njoku would also be coming in from his own angle. But quickly, let me start with you, Oche. The very first question I would be asking you today, I would also ask the question to Chinubem Njoku. Why would you advise Nigerians to vote for your candidate? What makes your candidate best candidate for the position?
Thank you very much, Mr. Wisdom. That is a very good question. I think let me start from saying that from 2015, a group of persons came about, gang up against Nigeria as a country, and hijacked the country from our hands. I mean the APC, the All Progressive Congress. They formed an alliance and hijacked our nation from our hands. So Nigeria want to rescue the nation from the hands of those that have hijacked it from our hands. And if Nigeria are looking for somebody that will rescue those that have hijacked our nation from our hands, I believe that somebody that have experience, somebody that is prepared, not somebody that just wake up from one day and say that he want to help Nigeria. No. And it's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And that is why all Nigeria need to rally around him. A person who have more experience, who have served a father. I mean, His Excellency President Olusegun Obasanjo. So I don't think that Nigeria as a whole need somebody that is a novice in this game to rescue the nation. And that is why I need to really support him and the PDP.
Please unmute your mic.
I'm unmuted. Forgive me. I just didn't want a hold back. So the same question I would definitely pass on to Chidubem. Chidubem, why should we vote for your candidate? What makes him the best person for the position?
Well, in one word, results. Results. I heard Oche talk well about the fact that his candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is well experienced and, of course, has served in terms, and we don't need a newbie in quotes to come and rescue us. But the thing is, if your house is on fire, I'm not sure you are going to care about whether the person coming to rescue you, newbie or an experienced fire quencher or something. What you're going to be passionate about is someone who can come and do the job based on track record. And now we have a man who is cut out of a different cloth. We've been crying for something different. We thought we would have that with Buhari in 2015. That's why a lot of Nigerians voted for him, because they felt he was a breath of fresh air. But come on, this is a man talking about Peter Gregory Obi. He's a man with track record for success in business. And that's not something so many Nigerian politicians can brag about. And not just in business, in politics as well. He succeeded in Anambra State, doing well in a state that had antecedent of bad governance. I mean, Chris Ngige was the closest thing to good governance they had in that state. Prior to him, they barely had good governance, and Peter Obi came in and changed the narrative in education sector, security, especially every sector you can look at. Anambra had good stories to tell. And we are seeing that Nigeria is in a bad position, is in a position that needs help. And what better way to help Nigeria than a person who's helped a state before, that has helped a business before, grown a business from what it was to a multi-billion-naira business. That's something we want. That's something we want for Nigeria. And also a man who is not cut from the regular clothes of the Nigerian politicians who go around giving monies and, you know, using the structures in quotes to run things. We don't want that. We want something different this time. We want a man that represents the common man. And like you said, I represent the Labour Party, and it's a party that represents the common man. If you look at the logo, we have pictures of humans. We stand for human beings, and that's what we're after. The common man out there. How can we better the lot of the common man? It's not enough to be experienced. It's not enough to have served the big boys in quotes. Yes, Peter Obi may not have served the big boys, but he has served Nigeria, and that's what is important. We want to serve Nigeria. We don't want to serve the big boys. So we don't want the cabals in quotes. We want somebody who will stand for Nigeria, and I believe Peter Gregory is that man.
Michelle, you might want to respond to that. Michelle, can you hear me? I think he's having issues with his network. But why we wait for him to reconnect or get back on? I would throw this question again to you, Dubim, based on what you just said now. He did very well in Anambra State. I mean, that's what he too has always put out there when it comes to his credibility. But we heard the governor of the state. Peter Obi has always mentioned that he has investments. He has lots of investments. He left a huge amount of money, in the treasury chest of the state before he, left office for his the person who replaced him as governor. I would want to ask you, what do you make of the comments of Professor Chukwuma Soludo, who said those investments are near zero or what nothing at the moment?
Well, I respect Professor Chukwuma Soludo for who he is. He's a very fine, intelligent young man, one of Nigerians' best exports when it comes to human capital in recent times. But I think he's just playing politics. The records are there to see. Peter Obi did leave money, and the former governor attested to that, Willie Obiano. So I don't know, when he says investment are zero investment, he should bring the figures and facts and let's look at them. These are investments that yielded profits in recent time and bringing COFAS to the government. The last I checked, when Peter Obi quoted, let me not quote the wrong figures, was in excess or close to 100 million naira. So I don't know where Professor Soludo is getting his stats from. I want to believe he's just playing politics, and well, it's okay to play politics, but I'm sure he also, in fact, it's not even that I'm sure, he alluded to the fact that Peter Obi did quite well in governance. So I don't know what his grouse is. Maybe he wants to play the American card, no direct influence now or talk about the APC candidate. But maybe, I don't know if he's feeling bad that it's Peter Obi ahead of him, because he's a man who's always courted the presidency for all we know. So maybe that's where it's coming from. But I know for sure this investment are giving results in Anambra State. And of course, he too can attest to that.
Archie, you before you of course had that little interruption, I was asking you if you would like to respond to what Chidubem said about P2B.
I think he's trying to justify my point I stated here concerning somebody who have prepared or calling him a novice. Well, Nigeria as a nation, this is a serious business, and we are not trying to do a trial. We are not trying to do a trial. It's not a business you come and hit and run away. It's a serious business that we need to hit it and once and for all. By this time, by 2027, I think we should be, all of us should be jubilating, being our various worship center, thanking God of what Atiku is about to do for Nigeria. And it's not about emotion, something of emotion that we should come online, to come on social media to come and demonstrate. It's not an NSAS movement that do not have a leader, or maybe as it has collapsed, then some persons who come and gather themselves and say that they want to resurrect another program. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think the network is bad. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Clear.
Okay. So talking about His Excellency, is somebody that have understand the economy of Nigeria since 1999. You agree with me fervently that the economic committee of this nation was chaired by His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. You agree with me since he laid that foundation, all the from Yaradua to Goodluck.
Okay. I really hope this would not be a huge interruption to our discussion this evening. Of course, not to worry. Like I did mention, we would have him back, I'm sure. But then, like I did mention in our intro, these are definitely discussions that border around party lines for sure, and it would be nice to have him back. But Dubem, while I'm sure we'll definitely find a way around it. You know, these are the reasons why we want to elect the best leader. So we will not exactly be having network interruptions in the middle of conversations. Ocha, are you back? Okay. He's not. He's not back yet. Dubem, let's go on to the next question. I'm sure when he comes back, he would also get to that next question. P2P has said a lot of things, but I know that you're a very, very intelligent man, and you must have heard some things. What new things do you believe P2P would bring to the table? Let's keep his church sermons and bank sermons and different sermons at different places aside. What new thing do you think P2P will bring to the table?
Well, like you said, he has said a lot of things, and honestly, I'm not drawn by all of the lots of things he said. But the singular thing that drags me to Peter Obi is the fact that he's not coming on the back of a cabal. He's coming on the back of Nigerians. And the only way you can have a president work is when you have a president who actually was voted for by the people. Because he is not answerable to anybody in quote. He's answerable to Nigerians. And that is what we want from a president. Ocha was saying Atiku served Obasanjo, he served this. That only means that these are chains. I mean, when you come into the government, you now become answerable to certain people. And that's why a lot of people are saying our current president, President Muhammadu Buhari, is incapacitated, so to speak, incapacitated in terms of delivering on his promises because he's answerable to certain cabals that have held the country in chains. So we don't want that again. And that's why we are crying for Preacher Greg Obi. He's a person who has come out basically on his own. And a lot of politicians even said that he doesn't have structure. I mean, a lot of them were saying that when he started, and they said, how is it going to happen? Can anything good come out of Nazareth? But we are seeing it today. A governor famously said that the PW won't have up to 200 supporters in his state. Nasir El-Rufai. What's happening today? So the thing is, this is a supportership that has grown naturally. We are seeing Nigerians yearn for this man. And I believe that because he is coming in on the back of the trust of Nigerians, he's bound to deliver. Because if he fails, he's going to be sent out of office. There's no guarantee. To be frank, Wisdom, there's no guarantee that Peter Obi is going to come in and work wonders. But we're only saying that this is a person that, based on antecedents and the fact that he's not part of the usual Nigerian politician. We know these people who have been around the setting since 1999, going around from either party to party or structures in quotes, holding the country to ransom. He's not part of that gang. And we are saying we need somebody who can represent Nigeria, somebody who understands the problem. And look what the man talks about Nigeria's problem. He talks about them from a place of understanding, not just the regular talk of, hey, I'm going to give you light, oh, I'm going to make education better. He brings facts, he brings figures, and this shows that somebody has done his homework, somebody understands the problem and is willing to offer himself as a solution to the problem. And why do I trust him? I trust him because I've seen what he has done in the past. I trust him because he's an intelligent young man who's successfully run businesses and made them work. And I'm saying, bring that wealth of wisdom and experience to the Nigerian setting and make Nigeria work, because Nigeria is in a dire strait. We are in a position where we cannot afford to fail. And PW is coming in without external pressures, because Nigeria is in a difficult position. It's going to be even more difficult when you have a president who is answerable to people. And then before, you can imagine that before you even think of maybe allocating 15 or 20% of your budget to education, for instance, and then some cabal somewhere is telling you, oh, you have to settle the boys first. You have to settle this one who brought you into power. You have to settle the northern belt. You have to settle the eastern belt. And before you finish settling, you're left with crumbs. That's what's happening to Nigeria. That's the reason why we are where we are. So we need to get out of that conundrum. We've seen this thing happen in states before. Peter Obi himself is a testament to that in Anambra State. He came in basically on his own, and that's why he was able to succeed in Anambra, because he was not answerable to any cabal. We saw this thing happen also in Rivers State with Rotimi Amaechi. He's not even a member of Labour Party. He was a member of the PDP before going to the APC. He worked. Why? Because he came in basically on his own. He came in through the courts. We saw it also with Adams Oshiomhole in Edo State. He did well as a governor. Forget what's happening today, all the shenanigans around him. But as a governor, the man did well. Why? He came in through the courts. He wasn't answerable to the cabals in the state, which were Lucky Benedium and the rest of them. So I'm saying that Peter Obi is that man who is coming not on the back of a cabal or the part of an existing protocol in quote. He's coming as Peter Obi, as the man of the people. And I love when Oche made the comparison of SARS and Peter Obi, because this is exactly what it is. It is the voice of the people talking. And like they say, the voice of the people is the voice of God. It's difficult to stop.
Okay, you can hear me now. Yes, yes. So what new things would your candidate bring to the table? We've heard Atiku said he was in Lagos the other time, he was talking, we've heard him say different things at different places. What new thing, from what you have perceived, from what you have seen, let's leave his preaching and his sermon, because politicians will always say something else and perhaps do something else at the end of the day. What new thing do you think Atiku Abubakar would bring to the table if he becomes president?
Well, I think the question is for me.
Yes, it's for you.
Okay. Well, let me say something very frankly. What Nigeria have been yearning for, I think there are two major things: the restructuring and the local government autonomy. You are with me, right? Restructuring and local government autonomy. Atiku have been preaching this even before this administration come for their second term, and I believe that you listen to him at the Lagos Economic Summit, very clear, and he have been emphasizing on it day by day, and I believe what he have been saying is going to stand by it. He's not joking about that. Many states in our country today have yes to this very thing I'm talking about, and I believe that he's coming to do it once and for all. He's not joking about the restructuring. He's not joking about the local government autonomy. Any other person that have any other thing apart from this thing that is affecting us, I think that should be a miracle, and we applaud the person for that.
All right, Chidubem, I don't know if you have any response to what he just said now.
Oh, well, I think on the issue of restructuring, it's been overflogged, to be honest. But I think as much as restructuring is important for Nigeria, I'm afraid it's a matter of putting the cart before the horse. It's restructuring the immediate problem we have as a country. Let's tell ourselves the truth. I mean, it feels like a person who is going to, maybe fix the outside of your car, the exterior of your car, when your fuel hose or your fuel pipe now is leaking. The first thing you should do is to fix the fuel tap first before you think of changing the exteriors and even the engine. Because even if the engine is old and cranky, you first of all fix the immediate problem before looking at the bigger picture. And I think Nigeria, for one, as much as we may need restructuring in the future, we need to look at the things that are plaguing us, the root causes and the immediate causes. Corruption is something that we need to deal with. It has to be said. We cannot run away from it. I mean, when you have subsidies paid for things that you can't even understand, today we don't even know the quantity of fuel or petrol that Nigeria consumes in a day. Not even the NNPC group managing director can provide that. And it's quite funny because we keep paying monies for subsidy, and we don't know where these monies are going to. And you have an over bloated, don't even know what they are doing. You look at the budgetary allocations for the year and how much to key sectors of the economy. We are talking education, we are talking security. What is being allocated to these sectors? We look at the production or the GDP of Nigeria. What exactly are we producing compared to our population? It's a country with over 200 countries in other worlds, to other countries rather in the world who have similar population. What are they doing in terms of GDP? I mean, look at the Netherlands, for instance. They barely have the population of Lagos State, but their GDP is well over 10 times ours. So we need to fix these immediate problems first, so that when these things are working, we cannot create you cannot look at if restructuring is the solution, because the thing is, if you rush into restructuring with these problems still there, it will just be like I said, you're changing the exterior of your car and the fuel pipe is still leaky. So you have a beautiful car, meanwhile the fuel tap is still leaky, and then you find out that the car will break.
Children, sorry to cut in. Don't you feel that the problem started with the structure of the country?
Well, you could say so. It all depends on how you look at it. But I'm saying that we could look at that in a broader sense, and I think a lot of research has gone into that. I mean, Jonathan spent quite a lot, to put up a committee that looked into that, and that report up to today has not, been put into actual. Before you even get into all of that, why not fix the immediate problems? Let's see Nigeria working again. Nigeria is not at a point where you need. It's like somebody in coma, somebody in an emergency situation, And you're saying, oh, let's rush first, let's go and do operation. No, the first thing you do is to stabilize the person. And I'm saying Nigeria needs to be stabilized first before you think of carrying out an operation. And that surgery could be restructuring. I'm not saying it is going to be, but it could be. So stabilize Nigeria first. Let's see Nigeria on the path to greatness, on the path that is right first, before you can talk of restructuring. Else, you restructure a malfunctioning country, and then you just have a repeat of the current structure that you have been running away from.
So then let me still stay with you before I come to Ocha. Insecurity and rising secessionist groups are very crucial facets of Nigeria's challenges at the moment. Both in the north, in the south, in the west, in the east. I mean, what you might, I would like to hear what you might know about the methods of solving it. Generally, as a person, what ideas would you have? And do you believe your candidate can fix it?
Well, I do believe he can fix it, and that's because I've listened to the ideas he has about insecurity, and then holistically how to solve the problem on a long-term basis. And Peter Obi is a man who is big on education. And I also believe that an educated population is immune to some kind of societal ills. It's easier to tell a man who's not eating all day to go and kill a fellow man for 500 naira. It's going to be more difficult to tell a man who at least is guaranteed his meal for the next 30 days to go and do that, even for 50,000 naira. So these are the issues we're talking about. We want to see in Nigeria where most of its citizens, if not all, at least are dragged out of the poverty line. And when that happens, a lot of things naturally will reduce. Because how often can you go into the bushes and wipe out Boko Haram in quote and the ISWAP, and then in the next 6 months they regroup because there are people out there for them to recruit. But if you eliminate these people that they are going to recruit, then you have a lasting solution to the problem. So let's look at the rates of out of school children, especially up north, and then you also look at the east as well. You have these people there, and little wonder you have insecurity skyrocketing these days. And also, we also look at the issue of trust and sincerity. It's not hidden knowledge, or it's not secret anymore that some highly placed people have been pointed arrows at or accusing fingers at as sponsoring. And we know these things. That when these kind of things last for this long, you know that there are people who sponsor them. They have, of course, they have sponsors. And we have to look at these things, locate these sponsors, and what will it take? It takes that political will, and that's why I started by saying that Peter Obi is coming on the back of Nigerians. He is not answerable to a cabal, and this means that if he wants to take certain decisions, if he wants to land the stick, he's not going to be looking at the face of a cabal. When you come in on the back of a cabal, it means that before you take a decisive decision, you have to go and consult, in quotes, the gods before you take that decision. But this time around, you have somebody who can wake up in the morning and then take that decision for the benefit of the country. If I would cite the example of Rotimi Amaechi in Rivers State, when he was going to place a ban on motorbikes, it was an unpopular decision at the moment, at the time. But because he knew it was going to be for the greater good of the state, he took that decision. And despite the fact that it won him enemies, and even when he was demolishing houses to build roads and create infrastructure, it brought him enemies. The first lady at that point was one of the enemies it brought him. But he went on to do it because he wasn't answerable to a cabal in quote. We also saw it with Nasir El-Rufai in the FCT here. He turned the FCT to what it should be, brought it back, to the path of beauty. And that was because he wasn't. I think that is what we need, especially in insecurity. You don't need somebody who's going to use
moderator
and all of that.
Between Peter Obi and Atiku, I am asking a question now. Between Peter Obi and Atiku, who should be answerable to somebody, if not Peter Obi, as my friend is opining, that a person should be maybe answerable to a cabal? Atiku himself, I cannot say that he is a Kaba himself, but you have the capacity. He's talking about how P2B is coming to end corruption first. You agree with me very well that the administration that we are expecting from Atiku Abubakar is not a hit and run administration. He's coming to bring a final solution to our economy, coming to bring final solution to our educational system. That is why we need to restructure the country so that we know where the problems are coming from, where the local government chairman will not be running from Obiako local government to Rivers State government house to collect his monthly allowance or whatever they used to disburse to themselves, where your money will come from federal government directly. And the person in question who is heading the local government, who is heading our council ward and the rest, will be accountable to the people, and the people can have direct access to them. That you agree with me also that Atiku laid a very good foundation for the economy of this country, chairing the economic council. I stated earlier that from inception, from that day on, every administration since 1999 that come, they always they come and emulate what he have laid for this nation. It's not something that okay, let us tackle the security system first. No, as far as you remember vividly, that should be August, that in my own state, which is Benue State, that the governor of the state recruited how many thousands of community volunteer guard, where they are working tirelessly now. I can tell you that from that day till now, what has happened, what has transformed in Benue State concerning the security situation in Benue State, call anybody, put a call across anybody, they can tell you that Benue State is secure as it is now, because we have taken the bull by its horn. We are not running to federal government that will come and secure our place again. This one is by force. That is why you see our governor running up and down day and night, making sure that he secure the people, not crying anymore to the federal government that Buhari should come and help him. That is why we need restructure in this country. Talking about the economy or talking about the educational system, can you just imagine the federal government, the Nigeria University, every year as school resume, the ASU, they will be crying to federal government that they are in need of this, they are in need of that. Whereas a state can sponsor the whole university in this country. Check Rivers State, for instance. The governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Governor Nyesom Wike, have been saying, bragging up and down that the economy of Rivers State can feed the whole Nigeria in the next 400 years. How can that happen? It's because if the nation is being restructured, every state can take care of its own. We will not be crying that Nigeria, the southeast is being marginalized, the southwest is being marginalized. That we should, why is the Hausa man always on top? Where whatever you have in your state can make the person in charge of that place can use it to take care of the state. So my co-person here, I think you should agree with me that the only person that is capable of doing that, is not a promise, he has been advocating for it, he has been championing this cause. The only person who have experience, who will not come and hit and run, and the next administration will come and they will say that we need to restructure the country now. Corruption fall under this situation. The economy fall under this situation. Our education fall under this situation. The Almajiri that people are saying that they are the one that will grow up and become Boko Haram, they fall under this situation. So it is only PDP and Atiku Abubakar that can do this for this nation once and for all. It's not a try your luck of a team. Thank you very much.
All right, very, very powerful line there. But Dubem, you want to say something before I move on to the next question?
Well, very quickly on this issue of restructuring. Well, it's beautiful when we just come out and say restructuring is going to change everything, like it's a magic wand or something. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, and I've given an illustration why it doesn't work that way. As much as restructuring can be a lofty idea, the thing about restructuring is what angle of restructuring are you even coming up? Are you coming from? It's quite a broad thing to say when you say restructuring. What exactly are we looking at when we are saying restructuring? What are we restructuring the whole country? Are we restructuring a particular sector? Are you structuring the education sector? Are you structuring the legal sector? Are you structuring the executive sector, the arms of government? That before you just come out and come out with a blank statement, oh, we want to restructure, oh, we want to restructure, because it sounds like a good thing in the ears. But restructuring is not so easy a thing to do, you know, on a singular basis. You have to, first of all, you don't pay the cracks. I feel at this point, restructuring to an extent will just be peppering the cracks, because you have these issues, these endemic issues that would be plaguing Nigeria. He talked about the fact that, oh, local government wouldn't have to run to state government. And I ask you, the local government with the little money they have, what do they use these funds to do? You know, you have a situation where you have monies coming into the local government, and then you just end up seeing these monies go down the drain. The state governments were crying at some point, oh, we need the money, we need the money. And federal government gave them the money. What did they use them to do? NDDC, now there, if not for recent investigation, we wouldn't have known about the billions of dollars were carted away. And these were people that were shouting, oh, we need the money to do this. I'm not saying it's a bad idea to have the NDDC, but I'm saying that if the structures, like you said, if the structures are made in a way that the institutions cannot checkmate the actions of people, strong individuals in these places, you have a situation where, well, you have a restructured, in quotes. It's like a football team where you have bad players, and then you say you want to change the formation. Well, you won't end up winning the game, because the main thing you should have done is to get better players or improve the quality of the players before you even thinking of changing the formation.
Okay. That question of insecurity. I would also like Oche to say something more on it. You did touch it in your last conversation, but you know, Atiku and insecurity. Of course, Atiku has picked Okowa, Governor Okowa, as his running mate. The both of them against insecurity. Are they Nigeria's best chance?
Thank you very much, Mr. Wisdom. Security situation is, I can tell you that it's everybody's business. It is not only Atiku's business to come and tackle it. It is you and I that can stop insecurity. Our National Orientation Agency, you agree, you remember that they will always do an advert, a publicity that when you see something, you say something. So it's not just one man show that you just come in a day and fix it. It is everybody's business. Whatever we need, what we are expecting Atiku Abubakar to come and do concerning the security situation, number one is to come and strengthen the people who are on board concerning the office. And what we need as citizens to do is to support security personnel to tackle security situation in this country. So me personally, I would say that it's everybody's business, not Atiku Abubakar or alone's business. Thank you very much.
Well said. Dubem, let's go to the economy immediately. Peter Obi has, brought out all the statistics, both of his personal achievements in business and, banking sector, name it. And then these proofs are also visible, I must add, because like the ones in Anambra State, the governor said they are next to zero. But these ones are at least visible. We know that he was with some banks. I won't mention the name here. He also was part of one or two businesses personally as a person, and that for some people might show his economical acumen. And then in terms of education, he's well educated in that particular field. Nigeria's economy is at its worst in history. The dollar and the pound to naira ratio is laughable. Like, it's really laughable. If you were to share it in human form, I'm sure it would be 900 people to one British or $1. In terms of the and how it actually shrinks our import, So it is a very, very important part of something. Statistics show that more people are dropping into the poverty column. Who best understands this problem? And of course, has what it takes to solve it. Is that person Peter Obi?
100%. I would say, comparatively, if you look at the options, then I think Peter Obi is the man. And I say this because he's the only person who has identified the major problem Nigeria has at this point. And that's the problem of production. A lot of people have been talking about the fact that, oh, we are going to use the money to do this, use the money to do that. But the thing is that when you look at the money Nigeria has in the first place, you begin to care of the growing population, country of over 200 million persons. I mean, how do you take care of these new mouths to feed? The best way you can do that is to increase production. And how do you do that? But by creating or creating an environment for businesses to thrive forth in different parts of the country. Then you see a lot of people who are struggling with their businesses in different fields. I mean, how about creating the platform that will make them succeed? There are a lot of Nigerians who will become millionaires today if they were. There are a lot of Nigerians today who will become millionaires if, say, insecurity was not a problem. So we need to address this issue of Nigerians, because our GDP is nothing to write home about if you compare it to the number of persons we have in this country. Because so we have the biggest economy in Africa and all of that. I say, oh, you have the biggest economy in Africa, but you also have about the biggest number of mouths to feed in Africa. So you have also, you need. And I'm saying Peter Obi understands this because he is a man who's built businesses. He is a man who's raised businesses and made them multi-billion-dollar business. So he's a person that I can trust. And seeing what he has done with Anambra, I'm saying that in a state like that, for you to have, and he didn't just save money, because some people just save money for the fun of it, like some of us we do. And when we were much younger, oh, in secondary school, we say we are saving, or we will trek to school, we will not follow the bus or something just because we want to save money. That was not the case. The state was functioning. Security was functioning. Businesses were thriving. Different sectors. He was able to save money. That's because he understands how to manage resources. And that's exactly the kind of person Nigeria needs, because we don't have enough, but we need to grow from this little that we have to have enough. I know a lot of people argue that, oh, we have enough, corruption and all of that. Indeed, corruption is a problem, but even if you eliminate the corruption and then we bring out what we have, you see that if indeed we want to build a lasting economy like the ones we admire, the US of this world, UKs of this world, we need to grow our income. And production is key. And like I said, he has done it before. I believe he can do it again.
Okay, Dube, thank you for that particular one. Ocha, let me go to you. Economically, is Atiku the man?
Well, thank you very much once again. Talking about the economy of this nation, from 1999 to 2007, I think Nigeria is better compared to this time around. It's exactly what Atiku is coming to improve on again. We have been there before, have more exposure, have more experience. I think comparing Atiku and Peter Obi concerning economy in this nation, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar produced more than Peter Obi in terms of economy building. Most of the things that Peter Obi have in this nation is something that you can just consume. He imports and he sell to people, then they consume. but we produce. You understand? I'm not trying to maybe demean him here, but I can say with all boldness that he have more experience. It's not something that it's not a normal trade that people just set up a chaos and come and say. That is not the economy we are talking about. Number one, enabling environment. That is what we are talking about when you talk about economy. Nigerian youths said they want to do something that they cannot be employed. What about giving them an enabling environment? It's what Atiku Abubakar is coming to do. We want to give Nigerian enabling environment where we have good road that we produce your cassava, you have a place to take it to. You want to give us that light that is not constant, where whatever you produce, you have a place to store it. Concerning the security situation, you also want to end up this security situation so that if you are in your farm, the herdsmen will not come and terrorize you. It's exactly what Atiku is coming to do. It's not just a common promise from our lips. He will do exactly what he has promised to do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts. Subem, you're smiling. You have something to say?
Yes, I do. And first of all, when you say it's not just promises, I'm curious. And then you say Atiku when he was in charge, and I'm wondering, a vice president, what powers does the vice president have to state who is the number one, who is in charge of the economy? From what I know, the vice president is not in charge of the economy of the country. So I don't think it's even proper to attribute whatever successes, in quotes, if there were, between 97, 90, that would be misjudgment. And then talking about Peter Obi basing a major consumption product and all of that, or consumed product. What's more important about GDP here now? How much does it bring to the coffers of the country? This is somebody who so much to the coffers of the country. And then it's about the understanding of the working from level 0 to level 100. That is the experience we're talking to consumables, or yes, those things will matter in the long run. But we are saying if somebody understands how to grow things around supporting struggling Nigeria, farming, there are a lot of farmers in the country. In fact, of the country are into farming. But in 2022, you cannot be talking about farming and talking about cutlasses and hoes. To expand, you need to bring in people that have the track record of being productive with the little they have, and then give them these soft loans and expand their farms and be able to produce more. What economically sustainable, especially for self-sustaining when it comes to food. We have the population, we have the land. 9 entire country. It's the largest state in the country. In fact, it's bigger than many countries in the world. So this is of little funds here and there, and transparency in the process, because we've had these ideas come before. Even the current government, yes, thanks to them to some extent, they've come up with some of these ideas to empower some of these young farmers to grow. But to what extent is giving a farmer 20,000 naira? What is 20,000 naira going to do for you in today's economy? So giving somebody who is planning on growing his farm 20,000 naira, what's it going to do for him? So we are saying, how can you pick businesses? Look at the markets in Abia State, for instance, Ariaria, a popular market, one of the biggest in the country. That is a market that is popular for the production. They produce a lot of things. We call them Aba-made. Some of these things are quality. What stops you from saying, oh, we are going to see how to subsidize? These are things you should be subsidizing, not petroleum and other things. How to subsidize these things so that they can compete favorably with their counterparts abroad, and then we can see how we can produce en masse like China has done. And today, they are dumping their goods in Africa, so to speak. Why can't we look for neighboring West African countries to dump our own products and see how we can, push up our revenue from these things instead of just running around with circles and saying, "Oh, I'm going to give you light, I'm going to do that." Let's see practical things, how we can bring Nigeria out. And Peter Obi has stated these things. These are the things he wants to do. Like I said, he understands the problem, and you cannot solve a problem you don't understand. And because he understands the problem, I think he's the man to do it.
All right. Even as I was just on Oche was just in and listening to the points being reeled out by Dubim, and I'll quickly come to you now, Oche, while we round up, because I would like us to use the remaining minutes to go back to the beginning, to still wrap up all our comments on why our candidate, perhaps in the future we'll have more time on this particular one, why our candidate remains the best person. We've talked economy, we've talked insecurity, we've talked the general overview. Time will not permit us to actually go into all the details, but you wrap up entirely, both economy, you can add economy to it, add insecurity, add infrastructure, everything. Why should we go for Atiku Abubakar? Oh, wow, that's his network. Oche, can you hear me, Oche? Wow. You can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Thank you very much. To wrap up my point, see, Nigeria is in a serious business by this time. As I've earlier stated, that this is not a business that you just come and try your luck and it will just go like that. No. Number one, we need to unite this country. We are so divided in this nation. Will you agree with me that the first thing that a Nigerian will say to himself whenever he meets a stranger is, first of all, he say, who is he? Is he an Igbo man? Who is he? Is he a Hausa person? The second thing will now come that, is he a Yoruba? Is he a Christian? Is he a Muslim? Is he a traditionalist? You understand? So we have a problem of division. We have a problem of unity in this nation. And first of all, the only party that have cut across this nation concerning unity in this nation is PDP. Go to the north, you understand what I'm trying to say, where you show a PDP person that this is the party I'm supporting, and he agree with you that it's a national party. Go to the southeast and show them PDP. They will agree with you that it's not a Yoruba party, neither an Idoma party. But when you bring a party like Labour Party, take that party to the north, especially place like Kano or Sokoto, they perceive that party like it's an Igbo man party, where an Igbo man is coming to steal something from you. So every Nigeria who is rallying around PDP to rescue this nation, and the only person that can do that is Atiku Abubakar. So talking about unity, I'm trying to say.
When you say every Nigerian, I think you're generalizing too much. When you say every Nigerian is riding around PDP, that's too much generalization. Every Nigerian, the APC people might not agree with that. Same with the Labour Party people. If you say every Nigerian, but go ahead. Oh, I think I
generalize it.
Okay. Go on, Oche. Oh, I think I stopped him there, but I just tried to, warm up the generalization that every Nigerian, because of course that's not something the other party faithfuls would agree with. Kwankwaso has his people. Kwankwaso is there. Jagaban himself, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is also in the question and the discussion. Also, P2B is there too. We can forget so quickly. Okay, when Loche comes back, Dubem, first of all, I really appreciated the your discussion on the economical side of things. P2B, indeed, if we want to look at, say when you want to go back, when you want to go back to look at what you did as a student, to judge you maybe for a master's degree or something like that, we look at your credence in maybe your undergrad or your primary school or secondary school to judge what you can do in the future. So in terms of economy, with those things you reeled out, I can easily say, okay, perhaps based on that premise. But generally, you heard what Oche mentioned. Look at unification of the country. P2B is from a minority group. You want to look at it from that angle. It's from the Southeast. The Southeast is in nowhere around the level of, in terms of size of the North. Not in land size, not in population, not in some of those things, maybe mineral resources, but the other things generally, population size, political power, width, history in politics, and all that. So, but generally, can P2B do this thing? Because in terms, look at insecurity also, factor in that if people are not following you, you might struggle to even implement the good things you want to do. Generally, can P2B do this job?
Well, to start with, I must commend Oche for bringing up the issue of unity. I think that's about one of the most important things, or more important things now we should look at if Nigeria must work. Because if there's no unity, then all the things we are talking about can't even be there in the first place. There can't be security without unity. There can't be a good economy without a security. Education cannot thrive without unity, and that's why it's something we should address first of all. And when you say that Labour Party is a party that is, popular in a particular part of the country, well, you may be correct because, of course, Peter Obi is an Igbo man. He's from the East, and it's only natural that the majority of his supporters now will come from that country. But I'm saying that poverty does not have an ethnic coloration. Poverty does not have a class coloration, or it could have, but I'm saying that it does not have a religious coloration, rather. I'm saying this because when the Enterprise movement began, it didn't begin as an Igbo movement or a Yoruba movement or an Hausa movement. It was later on that certain sectors of the country, certain individuals or groups in the country began to give it that coloration. And that's exactly what happened with Peter Obi. When he started, this was a natural movement where people that were dissatisfied with the current state of the country were saying, oh, we are tired of the status quo. We want a breath of fresh air. And Peter Obi was that man. It wasn't about Igbos. It wasn't about Yorubas at that point. But come on, when it looked as if, oh, this thing is growing momentum, how do we scatter it? And then you begin to hear, oh, he's an Igbo man. Oh, it's about IPOB. Oh, it's about this. It's about that. These things did not begin from the beginning. And I'm saying that there are individuals who perpetrate, who feel these ideas of hate, of, oh, he's an Igbo man, he cannot work. Oh, he's this man, he cannot work. People feel these things because they know that these are the only means they can use to hold on to power. Because you have people in Nigeria who cannot think for themselves. And you can't think for yourselves when your next meal is dependent on someone else. You can't think for yourself when you're not even educated enough to think. We have so many of these people in the country, and because these politicians know that we have so many of these people, the best way to keep them in bondage is, for one, to keep them financially incapacitated, because they will depend on you. And when they are dependent on you, then feed them with garbages. Oh, this man is an Hausa man. Because he's an Hausa man, it means that he cannot work for us as Igbo. Because he's Yoruba, he cannot work for us as Hausa. Politicians feed us with these narratives. And also, look at the current administration, for instance. We talk about division and disunity. These things happen because those in power engender these things. How? We have federal character in Nigeria, but is it applicable? Where you have majority of people in charge of ministries, departments, and agencies from a part of the country. These are the issues. How do you engender unity when you have things like this happening? These are why the Igbo man will say, "Oh, I am this. I am marginalized." The Yoruba man will say, "Oh, everything is about Igbo in this sector, about us." We need a. It needs to start from the head. We need to have a leader who who is detribalized, who is not thinking, "Oh, because it's not for my country, it's not going to work. Because it's not a Christian, it's not going to work. Because it's not a Muslim, it's not going to work." We have a party in this country who have who have candidates from a single party. I'm not saying it should be an issue normally, but we understand the peculiarity of the country. We have to appeal to the emotions of people. And then if you're talking of, oh, we want to see how to, appeal to the emotions of everybody in the country, you can't be doing a thing like that. It's like bringing two candidates from a particular section of the country. It's not like it's bad, ideally, but because of the peculiarities of the country, because Nigeria is a richly diverse country, you need to appeal to these different parts of the country. So we don't need things like that. We need a president that can understand that it doesn't matter where you are from. Like Oche said, it doesn't matter part of you are from. What matters is that you can deliver. And Peter Obi has done that in the past. He has businesses, for crying out loud. He has worked with people. I don't think he's not going to employ a manager and say, "Oh, because you're not from me, but you're not going to be head in my company." Or when he was head of a bank, he said he won't mention his name, so I wouldn't. He wouldn't say, "Oh, because you're Yoruba, you're not going to be a branch manager." It doesn't make sense. So I think Nigeria, holistically now, irrespective of party affiliations, it doesn't matter if it's Peter Obi who wins or Atiku who wins tomorrow. Nigeria should go back to the path of unity. And I think one good way to start is transparency in appointments. Let's have a president appoint people based on quality, one, competence, and then fairness. Fairness in the sense that Nigeria is a diverse country, and so we have to appeal to our diversity.
All right. Thank you so much, Chidubem, Joseph Njoku, and Oche. Oche's network was a huge challenge, but it was a pleasure having the two of you on board. At some point, I was really thrilled and also hoping that we could keep it going. But then time is not always very favorable when it comes to very interesting discussions that requires different angles to it. But then, like I told you guys earlier, I'll do the formal introduction towards the end. Chidubem, who is in front of me here, is a media consultant. He's a broadcast journalist by profession, which not just by profession. He's a lot of things. But he's a broadcast journalist also, and also a social commentator. He's very intelligent, has his bachelor's and master's degree already. He's a senior guy in terms of academia, and also a co-founder of a company already. In terms of awards and everything, Chidubem has won awards in writing. He's gone as far as public speaking also, and also engages in public intellectual communication most of the time. He currently resides also in Abuja. By the way, you can reach out to him on social media. LinkedIn. Chidubem is on Twitter at Chidubem NJ. If I got that right.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, Chidubem NJ on Twitter. You can also get him on Instagram. For Oche is also similar. Oche is also on Facebook at Oche Alechinu. Is also on Twitter at the same name, Oche Alechinu. Is also on IG. Funny enough, with the same name, Oche Alechinu has gone from the days of being just someone who watches to becoming president of Idoma Students Association worldwide. He has also worked as a digital communication expert and also an assistant in terms of social media management, content development, and organizing online for a particular politician. I didn't ask for his approver. Let me not mention it for the saying get money well. But then, yes, of course, he's actually dabbled into leadership positions in several categories, like we mentioned earlier. Currently, I know that he's also spearheading the campaign for two senators in his state. He's actually from Benue State, from the Doma region of Benue State. I do hope to have them in the future. Very close to the election. This one we just wanted to water the ground a little bit while we actually see what happens between now and maybe January. We'll then come back again, reconvene to actually spend some more time talking about this. But thank you so much, guys, for your time. This is on the YouTube channel now. You can always go back and look at it. It is fully recorded and can always be. You can always look at it and then get back those thoughts and feedbacks from the guys. We had some comments also, some of them very interesting, but then I'll leave it. We're not talking, we're not voting PDP, but in person. But I'll leave that particular discussion as, of course, Oche will not be here to respond to that. But thank you so much, Bim, and thank you so much, Oche, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It was nice sharing your platform.
All right, Dubim. Kindly stay on the line while we end the broadcast.